What's going on, Sauce Gang? Your boy back with another video. Let's get it, man. I know I was supposed to record a video last week for E3, but I decided, you know what? I'm gonna let E3 marinate. I'm gonna give my thoughts a little later. Just kinda, since it's still fresh in my head, I want to see all the games that they have available. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna wait to post a video, let the whole thing marinate. Then I'm gonna share my thoughts about what I've seen and my reactions. But hey, let me guys know if you did check out E3. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought about the showcase. I'm gonna get into a little bit of things, you know what I mean? I probably won't be able to cover everything in this one video, but I'm gonna try to do as much as I can. But let's get right into it. But before we dive into the main focus here, how you guys doing, man? Is everybody in good health? Everybody in good shape? I hope all is well. I hope you're doing good, man. Also, I hope you're still spreading that positivity. Alright? Remember, man, nothing but love and positivity. Always spread that. Alright. Now, to start off with, let's talk about Bethesda's and Xbox's conference. Dive into a few games. So to start with, I want to talk about Battlefield 2042, just to give you guys my reaction to the gameplay trailer that was revealed last week. So let's get into it, man. So I thought the showcase was pretty good. I thought Bethesda and Xbox did a pretty good job coming together. I didn't expect them to come together, but it's doing what they did there. I would expect in the future that they continue to have joint conferences, because they did a wonderful job. Now a lot of people were worried about exclusivity towards the Bethesda and Xbox joint venture that just happened this year. A lot of people were like, we're not too sure about it, because a lot of the games that were on all platforms, as far as PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. If you have PlayStation and you don't have Xbox, a lot of those games you're not going to be able to get, you know what I mean, if you have another console. Which, I mean, that's probably the downfall to these exclusive deals that these companies make with these developers. But hey, business is business, so I guess I do understand that. But hey, if you're like me and you've played Xbox before, but I'm more of a Sony head, I'm a Sony fanboy, but I've had Xbox in the past. I've had a 360, right? And as I stated in my older videos, I don't know if you can look down the list and check it out, I've stated, hey, I wouldn't mind getting the Xbox, the smaller version, of course, and then that way I can still, when PS5 is available, who knows when that's going to be, right? When that comes available, I can have both systems. That way I can play the exclusive games for Xbox, and I also can still play the exclusive games for PlayStation. But now, I understand that not everyone's the same, okay? I understand that a lot of you guys, you're going to stick to your guns. You're hard down Sony heads and Sony fans, are you're hard down Xbox heads, and you're telling yourself, oh, that's BS. I don't want to have to switch. I don't want to have to buy two consoles just to play games that I love. But unfortunately, that's just how the cookie crumbles right now. I always say, man, in time, things change during time, The 90s were a whole different thing, and the 2010s are a whole different thing. And, you just have to just go with the flow. You either learn to adapt or you just got to die, right? And in these past few years, it's always been about exclusivity, right? Especially on the Sony side of things, right? Sony has years of exclusivity, as to where Xbox hasn't had really anything. They haven't had any really strong developers, like Sony has had. But with that being said, guys, I know we're kind of down on the whole Xbox taking Bethesda for itself exclusivity, but listen here. I'm not too worried about Sony right now, okay? Just look at their history, okay? That's all you need to know, all right? I'm pretty sure Sony has something in their bag, okay? That, we're still going to be able to get these clean exclusives, and here's the good thing about it, right? Microsoft and Sony, these guys, these companies, these developers, they get to compete, and that kind of makes it a little more fun. It kind of makes it more interesting, right? So I'm definitely excited to see what next year E3 brings, right? Because this year, I will say, it was a lot of hype around it, but I don't think it was as big as it could be, right? So it's going to be very interesting to see next year how the cookie crumbles, and we're going to see these two powerhouses stack against each other. Now, right, before I say anything else, I'm pretty sure you guys know that Sony is no longer attached to E3. Sony does its own thing, right? And that brings me back to my next point. Sony State of Play, all right? Now, last year, Sony gave us State of Play, but it wasn't really too big on games. It was more based around the PS5. But this year, I do believe that we're going to have a Sony next month in July. I don't really know the exact date, but if I'm just piggybacking off Sony's past history, I'm going to say we're going to get a State of Play somewhere around either mid-July, you know what I'm saying, or maybe late July, who knows, but hopefully earlier than even that, right? Because I'm excited to see what games Sony has to bring to the table. But now getting back to Bethesda and the Xbox's conference, yes, a few games that I want to touch on, like Forza and Halo. Halo definitely surprised me from last time. They definitely switched it up. They definitely brought the sauce that I was looking for, man, as far as gameplay, multiplayer, and I'm also excited about the campaign. Now, as I stated before in my previous video, I wasn't a big Halo fan, but I did play with my friends when they had Xbox. But Halo Infinite, man, it's making me a fan. From what I've seen, I definitely have to say that I'm very interested. I think I'm gonna become a fan of this Halo series, man. It looks good, I gotta say. They definitely surprised me with the guns and the gameplay and the different things that you can do. It really feels like Xbox. It really feels like Halo. It feels original. You know what I mean? It feels brand new, and that's what I like about it. Also, Forza looks good. You know what I mean? Elder Rings is a game I'm definitely looking forward to. Now, if you guys don't know anything about Elder Rings, it's basically a game that has been in production for about 7 years now, and it has some very big names on it, like Mr. R.R. himself, R.R. Tolkien himself, who did the Lord of the Rings books, and I mean, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's a lot of big people on this name. Even the guy, I think, who did Game of Thrones, he has his hands in this as well. So it's gonna be great to see when this game gets released. I'm excited because I'm kind of a fantasy guy myself. I'm a big fan of the fantasy world, like Game of Thrones. I'm a big Game of Thrones fan. I don't know if you guys know that, but if you're a Game of Thrones fan, I'm pretty sure you know Elder Rings. If he has his name on this, it's gonna be a pretty big freaking deal, man. All right, but like I say, man, Halo really surprised me. Battlefield, hopefully we can see more Battlefield in the future, more potent gameplay, I like to say, more raw gameplay. Of course, you got a little bit of gameplay with the trailer, but I want to see, raw gameplay, a couple of game modes, maybe down in the future. EA can have a conference and they'll show us, they'll dive into the more of the mechanics and what you can do with your weaponry and your guns, how the map layout works out, all these different things, man, I'm excited for in the future. But overall, I would have to say, if I could rate this year's E3, I would have to give it a solid 8 out of 10, guys, okay? Just because, everything was, of course, digital this year and you wasn't really physically able to go, but I would have to give it a strong 8 just because the devs really came through and brought the heat, man. They brought the loud pack. Yeah, I'm saying they brought that loud pack this year that I was looking for, man. And hey, I gotta say, I want all the smoke. I'm ready to smoke all these video games up and just play it, man. And just even to get it on this channel. Okay, that's what I'm really excited about. All right, now diving back into Sony State of Play for next month, I'm just gonna dive into a few games that I want to see or I'm expecting to see during this year's State of Play. Gran Turismo. Now, if you guys are familiar with E3, if you followed it from last year, Sony did talk about Gran Turismo. We did get a few images, a few still shots, and of course a couple of gameplay videos as well, but we didn't really get everything that we wanted out of that. And hopefully this year they dive into more Gran Turismo. They actually show us more gameplay, more raw gameplay footage, because I am a Gran Turismo fan, right? If you guys have had PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 back in the day, man, if you were a kid like me and you played these games, Gran Turismo, it was a fun racing game, man. Gran Turismo was definitely one of those popular games that a lot of us played growing up. So I'm excited to see them bring back these old classics that you know, is very nostalgia for us, you know. So hopefully we get that as well, because hey, I'm a racer fan, you know. I love cars, I love fast cars. Who doesn't love fast cars? Am I right, guys? So hopefully we see a little bit of that as well, because you know, I'm excited to see what they do with this PS5, how much they are able to use this new technology. How far can they push these systems, man? I'm excited to see. I'm really am. Also, I know I talked about this in my last video as well, God of War. Now, this was a big thing because I did talk about it. I did say that God of War had been delayed. Now, the title right now is called God of War Ragnarok. Now, of course, that's not the final title. That title may change, but for right now, we're gonna call it Ragnarok, okay? Now, if you did play the last God of War game, okay, which is just a repeat of the previous 3 games, okay? If you're familiar with the series, but in this sequel of God of War Ragnarok, if you look at the last game, he supposedly comes in contact with Thor. So I'm very excited. It was a big cliffhanger at the end. If you played that game, great game, man. I love God of War. I've been playing it since I was a kid, man. Just because it's something different. The puzzles in the game, the story, the characters, gameplay, everything. I love everything about God of War. I hope you guys like it. But hopefully, even though the game has been delayed, the sequel has been delayed, hopefully, as I run this guy over here, clean him and crack his bones up here. Still can't believe I got that little clip. I wasn't even really expecting to run him over, because a lot of times I try to run these guys over and I always kind of miss. But you know, I sauce up when I can. But I digress. Back to God of War. Okay, guys, I'm so sorry. Back to God of War. But anyway, yes. So even though the game has been delayed, I'm hoping that we get some news on Ragnarok. Hopefully we might get some still images. Maybe they tell us more about the story. Where do our characters go this time? New places in the story, you know, new settings, new plots. What's going on? Or are we gonna get some characters that we loved from the previous game? Or are those characters coming back to warm our hearts, man, and just give us a whole new adventure? I'm excited. Who knows? But this is what E3 is all about. This is what video game season is all about. This is why we say hype. Okay, this is what we mean when we say hype. We have so many great titles, so many great devs that came out this year to share their stories and share their plans on what they're working on. And I think it's just great, man. Just a new generation of games. You know, I'm so excited for the kids to see the kids growing up. I mean, can you imagine like how far we've come? I mean, we're in the future now, so I'm very excited for what's to come. I hope you guys are. Let me know in the comments what you guys think and what you guys want to see coming up. But until then, it's been your boy Sauce. I'm out, and remember, always spread that peace, love, and positivity. And I'm out. All right, sauce up. All right, guys, peace and love, man. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like. Thank you. See you next video.